On the floor here, we have the Forza 4 PC that is going to be put together with all these random parts. We got this Acer board right over here on a deal. We got it for 85 Aussie dollars, came with 8 gigabytes of RAM, an i3, and also the motherboard, which is really good in this case. The Acer OEM boards, you don't need any proprietary connector converters or anything like that. It will work straight with a normal power supply, which is gold. We're going to be putting an i7 870 in that, since the specs on Forza 4 say minimum requirements is an i5 750 or 760, so we should be absolutely fine. We're going to use that included cooler as well, since back in this generation they did get it right in terms of implementing stock coolers that could handle the heat, literally. And then we got a brand new, absolutely huge 1 terabyte hard drive, and then we've got the R9 290X. This thing, we picked this up on a deal actually quite a few months ago for around about 160 Aussie dollars. So it's a beast of a card. It will need a big power supply to power that, so we do have the 800 watt Thermaltake TR2 that we pulled out of another build. And in this case right here, instead of throwing it in the bin, I figured I'll repurpose it, since we do have a micro ATX board, and it is sort of like a reverse style case. So it will be very interesting to see how this build comes out. But with that aside, let's get building and then testing Forza 4. But wait, Larry, there's more. More? More! So we've finished the PC, and of course we've spiced it up a little bit. Always with the potatoes, they do get an extra bit of tech yes loving than the normal builds that go on around here around the channel. And the good thing about Forza Horizon 4, we've booted up, it's a really exciting game. And there's just a little problem though, before we even talk about the benchmark numbers. We tried booting it up with a 290X with the newest drivers installed, and because there's some issue with the overlay, and the game inherently has Xbox overlay installed, they conflict with each other. So we're actually using a default driver for the R9 290X. And we can't find a workaround at the moment around this, because I'd like to get some driver updates instead of using an archaic driver and see if you can get some more FPS. But with that said, the 290X actually does a really good job of running this game. We're talking 1440p, high settings at 59 FPS. So it's pretty much right at that sweet spot of 60 FPS if you want to play and use this thing at 1440p. 1080p was even better, scoring near 80 FPS on medium settings, and then high settings was 68 FPS. So this CPU and GPU, especially for this game, is actually a pretty magical combo that will run it really well. So here's the PC, it's complete here, but you may notice something a little bit odd about this case, and that is it's kind of upside down. I guess you could call it a case that was designed for Aussies. But on the flip side of things, this is actually the funny thing about these cases. Yusuf as well, the video editor around Tech Yes City, he has one of these cases as well. They're kind of like normally this way, but they're upside down. And I think rumor has it that once upon a time, Intel wanted to push these cases because they wanted to make BTX more mainstream. And I guess it just never came to fruition. That's like a rumor going around. I've got no idea, because nowadays these cases just aren't anywhere to be found, brand new. Sort of like a dead meme at this point. And yes, I am aware of this power supply having way too many cables, but do not fear. It's still better than the Verge. Now, one of my friends is into PC gaming and he has a racing simulator, so we're going to be using this to play Forza Horizon 4 on this budget PC. I've heard you're not going to get the best experience until you've tried it on a racing simulator, so let's give this thing a test drive. So we just finished playing on the racing simulator and it was such a good experience. But honestly, with this game, it doesn't matter if you're playing on a controller or a mouse and keyboard or the racing sim. All three devices are going to give you one phenomenal experience. And the best thing is this $340 PC that we put here does play it really well on 1080p high settings. If you're in the US, it'll set you back around 245 US dollary dues. And the R9 290X, that thing held up absolutely fine. 1080p high settings, as we mentioned before, but even 1440p high settings was doable. If we moved into 4K, we're getting around 30 FPS. So I mean, if you like 30 FPS, then this thing for the price can still do it. Now the game itself does cost a little bit of money, at least in Australia, it's 77 Aussie dollars. So it is quite an ask, but it's definitely one of the more enjoyable games that has come out in 2018. It's really polished, it's stutter free, and the best thing is you can play it on older hardware as well and still get a really good experience. The i7-870, that 4-core, 8-threaded first-gen Intel CPU with no overclocks, by the way, because we're running an Acer motherboard that we picked up for a real good bargain, is still handling this game, as we saw in those benchmark results, absolutely fine. But when all's said and done, you can get away with putting together something super cheap that'll give you a great experience with Forza Horizon 4. And also with this PC, we did spice it up a little bit, but we do have to leave the side panel on since the R9 290X is a power-hungry graphics card, and the fan noises, they kind of have to remain a little bit noisy because the card's a power-hungry card and it's got a triple slot solution. So not much you can do about that. I would like to instead use like an RX 580 or a GTX 1060 or something like that. But at the end of the day, the R9 290X is still a phenomenal card that will play games in 2018 absolutely fine. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then be sure to hit that like button and let us know in the comment section below, have you tried Forza Horizon 4 yet? If you have, what are you playing it on, console or PC? And if you played it on PC, let me know your experience. Are you getting any stuttering, or have you got a workaround for this driver issue that we experienced here today? Love reading your thoughts and opinions as always. And if you enjoy the content, you might want to consider subscribing to Tech Yes City. We got some more hot tech videos coming to you very soon. Peace out for now. Bye. No, you're not getting the light. I'm getting the light. Stay away. Forza 4 is so good, even a moth will want to drive this thing.